Looking to try rotary cutting but are nervous about it? This video will provide a general overview on using the rotary cutter and provide some handy tips. Why use a rotary cutter over scissors? Once you get the hang of it, it can be faster, and because you don't lift the fabric off the table, it can be more accurate. On the left is something I cut out with scissors, and on the right is something cut with a rotary cutter. Even when I try to be careful, the scissors will usually be less than perfect. Rotary cutting is ideal when it comes to cutting straight edges, which is why it's so popular with quilting. But it can also be used in cutting out fabric for other projects like garment sewing. You just have to be more careful and use a smaller blade for going around curvy edges. Blades typically come in sizes 28, 45, and 60 millimeter, although you might find other sizes as well. Just make sure you purchase a quality cutter and blades because they'll work better for longer. When using a rotary cutter, you must use a self-healing cutting mat under your fabric. This will keep the fabric from sliding and also protect other surfaces from getting damaged by the sharp blade. If you're cutting straight edges like fabric strips, you'll also want an acrylic ruler. Do not use a regular ruler. The acrylic ones are thicker to keep the blade from going past the edge of the ruler. Also, you can purchase stick-on grippers to place on the back of your ruler to keep it from sliding. When handling a rotary cutter, you'll want to be very careful. Always respect the blade because it's extremely sharp and very easy to cut yourself. Whenever it's not in use, make sure it's in the position where the blade is tucked in, not sticking out. A rotary cutter can be used right-handed or left-handed. It comes in the package right-handed, but you can unscrew the center nut and switch the blade to the other side in order to make it for left-handed cutting. Only cut fabric with the rotary cutter. Paper will dull the blade. Be careful not to go over hard objects like straight pins. They can nick the blade. Instead of using straight pins, use fabric weights. When cutting, stand over the mat instead of sitting down. Apply even pressure to the cutter and always cut by rolling away from your body instead of toward. If your blade is sharp, you shouldn't have to press down too hard. If using a ruler, spread your hand as much as you can across the ruler. Keep your hands and fingers away from the cutting area as much as possible. The bigger the blade, the more layers of fabric it can cut. The 60 millimeter can usually cut up to 4 depending on the fabric thickness, but I usually don't try to cut more than 2 layers at a time. When cutting strips, always start with the fresh cut edge. Line up the salvages and press if you need to. If your fabric is a little on the slippery side and washable, you can spray it first with spray starch to make it stiffer and more manageable. Then line up your ruler so it's squared with the cutting mat lines, cut, and you'll have a straight edge to begin cutting strips from. The biggest issue with rotary cutters is not cutting through your fabric in a single swipe. This can be caused by the following issues: not applying enough pressure while cutting, trying to cut through too many layers, the blade is damaged or dull. Instead of buying a new rotary cutter, you can purchase new blades for them. To put in a new blade, unscrew the nut in the back to take everything apart. Very carefully remove the old blade and put the new one in, replacing the screw and nut. You can also put a drop of sewing machine oil on the nut to keep things in good working order. Also, don't tighten the nut too tightly, otherwise the blade may not rotate easily. You can dispose of the old blade in the original packaging or put a drop of nail polish on it to identify it as an old blade and save it for those times you want to cut something like paper. While you'll still need a good pair of scissors, the rotary cutter is a good investment for sewers. We hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please subscribe and click the bell icon to get notified of our new releases. Also check out ProfessorPincushion.com to view our complete library with well over 450 sewing tutorials. If you would like to directly support us, you can join our YouTube membership and earn some exclusive perks. Thanks for watching.